it's the first business day of the week. Welcome to Business Morning. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwago. Let's take a quick look at what the business week looks like. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria has begun its second rate-setting meeting for the year. At the two-day meeting in Abuja, analysts expect the committee to hold rates at the current levels. Investors are also waiting to see if the central bank will adopt a more flexible exchange rate regime after it devalued the retail rate by around 20% last month to ease a dollar shortage. At its January meeting, the MPC left all key rates unchanged. We're keeping a tab on that, and we will be airing the CBN Governor's briefing on that live on Tuesday by 2 p.m. We will also have a panel of discussants here in our Lagos studio to dissect the decisions. Do keep a date with us there. Meanwhile, a total sum of 134.97 million naira worth of treasury bills will mature into the system this week. Consequently, the central bank will on Wednesday auction the same amount across the 91-day, 182-day, and 364-day treasury bills. Dealers expect the auction stop rates to mirror liquidity position, with investors taking a cue from the stop rates. In the meantime, CEOs of the largest African and international companies, political decision makers from more than 40 African countries, and the most active bankers and investors on the continent are in Geneva, Switzerland for the 5th edition of the Africa CEO Forum. Now, the Africa CEO Forum is a unique platform for discussion and debate around the economic and industrial challenges facing the African continent. The two-day forum, which begins today, March 20, will focus on how to succeed in this new economic cycle on the continent. With the theme, Rethinking Africa's Business Model, the conference offers a unique platform for facilitating thought-provoking and forward-thinking discussions, as well as unique opportunities for business development, strategy refinement, and improving the overall competitiveness of African businesses. Our Channels Television is, of course, covering that event. Let's talk to Channels TV business editor Bosun Omofayo, who is live there in Geneva. Good morning, Bosun. I know we are in the same time zone with Geneva, so good morning. How welcoming is Geneva? Is it very cold there?
No, really. It's been about 9 or 11 centigrade here, really warm. For the first time I slept with almost no clothing on, so you don't want to know part of that, but it's just really warm overnight, all day, no snow, nothing, no rainfall. Really nice weather for African business executives and some leaders that are here. Of course, we know the continent has a little different weather conditions. Some of us that were coming from Lagos, from Accra, where you have temperature running around 30, 32, sometimes 34 degrees centigrade for most part of the continent, whether from Senegal, from Ethiopia, from Kenya, and all around the continent, from Mauritius who are here. So it's a very nice weather, but period chosen by the organizers to put this forum for us. So the first thing is say, well, thank you very much for putting this forum together at a time when some of us can really accommodate it without putting on all the winter jackets and whatever.
Well, I'm sure it's quite comfortable for someone like you who would not want any cold weather at all. Anyway, bring us up to speed with the activities and discussions for today.
Well, the opening ceremonies just ended, and unfortunately, the president of the AFDB, Dr. Akumi Adesina, couldn't attend this event, which was the first time in the last 5 years he wasn't able to make it. But he sent a vice president of the group who spoke to some very key areas, and that has to do with the need for political will among African leaders to make sure that the next round of economic reform or boom actually take place in Africa. Governance is very key, accountability is very, very key, and a number of African countries have been mentioned, including Nigeria, where leadership is being considered as a major ingredient of of the next round. Don't forget, we had the African Revolution for a few years. Then we had the commodity bust of the last 2 years when oil prices, gold prices, platinum prices of major metals across the world went down, and some African economies, so resource-based economies, were part of that, and Nigeria was also impacted. This was one of the stories. So the key issue here for this forum for this year is how to engineer the next round of economic success across the continent, and what are the lessons that have been learned under the last economic boom, which was led by commodity prices. How do we leverage the natural resources of the continent and try to avoid the pitfalls of the last 2 years?
Now, what do you think the CEOs hope to take away from this year's forum?
Yeah, I had a lot of takeaways from here. This is not just a talk show with you. This is a CEO's forum. In other words, I've seen a few Nigerian executives of banks and other institutions about to there. For example, the chairman of Honeywell, Shola Boha, who's the chief executive in charge of Africa Standard Bank, and of course, she's a Nigerian. She's one of the top female financial services executive, banking executives in Nigeria and across Africa. I've seen a couple of them who have been having private meetings here. The essence of being here, being a business executive, is to oil the existing relationships, business and investment relationships you have, then try to open new doors. So some of the time we'll spend over the next 2 days, today and tomorrow, in private networking meetings, holding private meetings, talking with executives. A few countries will sell some of their projects across the continent, whether it is seaport, whether it's tourism and what have you, trying to get new investment, real estate, digital technology, and all of the housing and real estate. All of this will come together. So it's not just about talking, it's about meeting people, those who have money, and if you have projects, two of you come together and use this opportunity out of your busy schedules, your offices in various countries, and use this platform to meet together and seal this deal and move forward from there. Looking for every opportunity. So everybody's here to look for something as an opportunity to get into the new economic future of Africa.